Well, that's a topic I'm not going to discuss because, one, we're not supposed to discuss other teams' players in this position that I have here.
Okay.
And so I violated one of the tenets of our thing. And the obvious thing is the word itself carries connotation, and I just don't understand that part of it, the word. So, I guess word choice could be something I could regret, but talking about other teams' players that's out of the box.
Well, LeBron did say today that when he
surfaced following comments attributed to former NBA coach Phil Jackson. Jackson, one of the most accomplished coaches in league history, has largely remained silent in recent years regarding modern NBA debates. However, remarks reportedly made during a private gathering in late January 2025 have sparked widespread discussion. Phil Jackson is a significant figure in basketball history. He won 11 NBA championships as a head coach, 6 with Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, and 5 with Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers. His career places him in direct association with 2 players commonly considered among the greatest in the history of the sport. Because of this background, his opinions on basketball greatness carry considerable weight. According to individuals present at a private dinner in Los Angeles, Jackson was asked where LeBron James ranks among the greatest players of all time. Jackson reportedly responded by emphasizing that modern basketball operates under different conditions than earlier eras. He spoke about changes in the league, media influence, and how player narratives are shaped.
I think it's incredible. He can play without fouling a lot of times. He can play defense on almost everybody that's on the floor. He's an unselfish ball player. He doesn't lust to score like Michael or Kobe did, or does. He doesn't have that same. But when need is there, he definitely finds a way to score. So his game has continued to improve over the last 4 or 5 years. And, we don't see what the limitation's going to be.
Shaped by performance alone, rather than active image management. The conversation reportedly remained private until portions of it were shared publicly without full context. Once leaked, the remarks spread rapidly across social media platforms and sports media outlets. Coverage focused primarily on the characterization of LeBron's career rather than the broader context of Jackson's comments. Public reaction was divided. Supporters of LeBron James viewed the remarks as dismissive and rooted in nostalgia for earlier eras of basketball. Critics of LeBron, on the other hand, saw the comments as validation of long-standing arguments regarding player movement, team construction, and legacy management. In response to the growing attention, LeBron James did not immediately comment publicly. Sources close to him indicated that he was aware of the remarks and found them disappointing, particularly given Jackson's stature within the sport. LeBron has historically expressed respect for past generations and influential figures in basketball, which made the criticism more impactful. Several days later, Phil Jackson released a statement clarifying his position. He reiterated that greatness in basketball extends beyond statistics and championships. According to Jackson, true greatness involves leadership style, accountability, competitive mentality, and the ability to elevate teammates through consistent demands for excellence. He emphasized that his views were shaped by decades of coaching experience at the highest level. Jackson's statement referenced specific moments from LeBron's career, including the 2011 NBA Finals and his decisions to change teams at various points. He contrasted these choices with the careers of players he coached, who spent the majority of their career with a single franchise and were part of long-term organizational continuity. A central element of Jackson's critique focused on team building. He pointed out that earlier championship teams were largely developed internally over time, while modern super teams are often assembled quickly through free agency and trades. Jackson did not deny LeBron's success, but questioned whether this approach represented the
special. You said I'm special. I am not like anybody else.
That's true.
And I'm not talking about the public.
Yeah.
I'm talking about amongst the NBA ilk. I'm talking about cats that are a part of the fraternity of 450 plus players. That's it in the world. You still went to the negotiating table and said, I'm one of the best. We expect to see that shit. And if you don't show it to us, we gonna point out that ain't what you said at the negotiating table. You see what I'm saying? You got LeBron. He used to drive me crazy with this. And that's why I came up with the tick on television. When I said, great dad, great husband, great director, great actor, great businessman. I did all of that. I said, did I miss anything? Did I miss anything? Because I got him as the second best player in the history of basketball. I got him ahead of Kareem. I got him behind no one but Jordan. And I said to Mr. Chirper himself, Rich Paul, my boy, and I said, you act like that's an insult. This dude, it is an insult. I said, get the fuck out of my face. Get the fuck out of my face. This is exactly what I said to him. I don't want to talk to you no more. You can't talk to me about it. When you going to treat me like I'm disrespecting a man by calling him in the history of the game that started in 1947, you're going to tell me that I am disrespecting a man by having him number 2 all the time. You have lost your damn mind. I'm not talking to you. And so what I'm saying is this. You got cats that want the lofty.
Presents progress, not a flaw. They emphasized that modern players operate in a different economic and media environment, requiring greater involvement in career planning and brand management. From this perspective, strategic decision-making is viewed as adaptation rather than manipulation. Critics maintained that constant movement between teams and the construction of talent-heavy rosters reduce the difficulty of achieving success. They argued that enduring challenges within a single organization demonstrates a different level of commitment and resilience. The discussion also highlighted generational differences in how athletes are evaluated. Older standards emphasized loyalty, hierarchical leadership, and minimal public self-promotion. Modern standards often emphasize autonomy, visibility, and broader social influence. Despite the intensity of the debate, LeBron James continued to avoid direct public response. Observers noted that this approach aligns with his tendency to let performance serve as his primary answer to criticism. However, sources close to him indicated that Jackson's comments carried emotional weight due to Jackson's stature within the sport. The situation illustrates a larger cultural shift within the NBA. As roles between players, agents, media, and business entities continue to overlap, disagreements about legacy, influence, and authority are becoming more frequent. Figures like Phil Jackson represent an era where boundaries were clearly defined, while players like LeBron James represent a model of modern professional autonomy. Ultimately, the controversy is less about determining a definitive ranking and more about understanding how definitions of greatness evolve over time. Both perspectives reflect valid interpretations shaped by context, experience, and generational values. Whether one agrees with Phil Jackson's assessment or supports LeBron James' approach, the discussion underscores the complexity of evaluating greatness across eras. As the league continues to evolve, these debates are likely to persist, shaping how future players are judged and remembered.
It just sucks that, now at this point, having one of the, biggest businesses that you can have, both on and off the floor, having a certified agent in Rich Paul, having a certified business partner in Maverick Carter, that's done so many great business, that the title for young African Americans is the word possible.
Standard often leads to conflict rather than clarity. Phil Jackson's perspective is shaped by his direct experience coaching in an era where organizational stability was more common. Teams often prioritized continuity, and player movement was more limited due to contract structures and cultural expectations. Success was frequently measured by championships achieved within a single system over many years. From that standpoint, Jackson's emphasis on loyalty, internal development, and long-term cohesion reflects the values of the environment in which he thrived. LeBron James' career, by contrast, has unfolded during a period of increased player autonomy. Changes to free agency rules, salary cap structures, and the rise of player empowerment have given athletes more control over their careers. These changes were not created by LeBron, but he has arguably navigated them more effectively than any player before him. His decisions to change teams were often framed as strategic moves aimed at maximizing competitive opportunities rather than maintaining organizational loyalty. This distinction is central to the disagreement. Jackson's critique is not solely about performance, but about process. He questions whether greatness achieved through strategic mobility and roster construction should be evaluated the same way as greatness achieved through prolonged struggle within a single franchise. Supporters of LeBron argue that adaptability and decision-making are themselves indicators of intelligence and leadership in a modern professional context. Another element of the debate involves leadership dynamics. Phil Jackson often emphasized psychological pressure as a tool for growth. Players under his coaching were expected to endure criticism, internal competition, and demanding standards. This approach shaped the reputations of players like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, who were known for intense competitiveness and confrontational leadership styles. LeBron James' leadership approach differs. He is widely regarded as collaborative and communicative, often prioritizing relationships and shared responsibility. Some analysts argue that this approach reflects broader cultural shifts in leadership across industries, not just sports. Others believe it lacks the intensity required to consistently drive teams through adversity. Both leadership models have produced championships. This raises the question of whether leadership effectiveness should be judged by style or outcome. Jackson's perspective suggests that certain styles are more conducive to sustained excellence, while LeBron's supporters point to adaptability as a key factor in longevity and success. The conversation also intersects with discussions about media influence. Modern athletes operate in an environment where exposure is constant and narratives evolve in real time. LeBron James has leveraged this environment to build business ventures, advocate for social issues, and maintain a high level of visibility. His involvement in media production has allowed him to tell stories on his own terms rather than relying solely on traditional outlets. Phil Jackson's criticism of narrative control reflects a belief that legacy should be shaped organically through competition rather than actively curated. From his perspective, excessive involvement in storytelling risks shifting focus away from performance. However, supporters of modern athletes argue that controlling one's narrative is a form of self-defense in an environment where misinformation and selective framing are common. The debate further extends to the concept of pressure. Earlier eras often emphasized physical and psychological endurance under restrictive rules and intense scrutiny. Modern players face different pressures, including constant media exposure, global expectations, and the demand to perform both on and off the court. While the nature of pressure has changed, its presence remains constant. Another factor influencing perceptions of greatness is longevity. LeBron James' sustained excellence over 2 decades is unprecedented. His ability to remain competitive across multiple generations of players challenges traditional career arcs. Jackson's era often saw stars peak earlier and decline more rapidly, making longevity less central to legacy discussions at the time. Supporters argue that longevity should be weighted heavily in any evaluation of greatness. Critics counter that peak dominance matters more than duration. This difference in emphasis further complicates comparisons between players from different eras. The role of championships warrants examination. While championships are widely regarded as a primary measure of success, the context in which they are achieved varies. Team composition, conference strength, injuries, and league parity all influence championship outcomes. Jackson's teams often benefited from organizational stability, while LeBron's teams frequently faced transitional challenges.